The story is called Mrs. Guard Reflects. Mrs. Guard had decided long ago it was better to face change head on. There was, after all, little point in sentiment. There were far too many practical things in a woman's day to allow her the luxury of thinking too much. Because with 3 kids, life didn't lend itself to that sort of thing. So she'd stuck the telegram in her apron and walked down to the beach. The veggies were done, the chops could wait until the kids were called and bathed. Through the sandhills she saw the mountains on the mainland, silhouetted at dusk on the other side of the channel. It was a good time, neither night nor day, a good time for a breather, and despite her best intentions she paused, then sat. In her apron the telegram crunched. For an instant the low sun struck her glasses, casting a reflection of mountains. 3, black against the sky, like the kids stooping there in the shallows. Between herself and the channel stretched the sand, trampled with 1,000 footprints of day trippers. Now gone, leaving the island as it should be, alone. For Mrs. Guard, Bribie had been a good island, a sanctuary really, though she tended not to think in those terms, or at least not to admit to thinking. Once a year, she would say to Mrs. Wade over the fence, "Well, we're off again, Gloria. It's good for the kids up there. They need a couple of weeks away." Gloria knew, of course, because Ruth Guard had been going to Bribie for years, ever since her first Maxine had been born. The husband, Viv, who worked shifts at the powerhouse, would sometimes go off for weekends. His holidays seemed to be erratic. It was a strange arrangement, but Gloria was a good neighbour and never questioned. Ruth took the kids for 2 weeks each year and Viv stayed home. He didn't like change much. He was too set in his ways. Ruth looked down now, beyond her toes, over the sand to the kids again. Maxine, so tall, Tracy, the second, and little Viv, the son, dark figures standing, moving, changing against the sky. The kids were happy and Ruth had a minute. The veggies were done, the chops wouldn't take long. She would call them in soon, in a minute. The channel ran fast and deep between the kids and the mainland. Despite itself, Ruth shuddered. Down there in the caves of sand, gropers waited. Once, when she was a kid, a boy had been taken by one, swallowed as it were by the sea. They never found him, though they dived. Only the mother called, far into the night, into the darkness, waiting. But he never answered. He never came back. He'd been and was gone. That was years ago. The mother had gone too. Practicalities took her away, but they were there, the gropers, in their sand caves, deep in their secret places, barely breathing, like memories, waiting. The kids were paddling back, sticking to the edge, almost in a line. Each would bend to pick up something or other, only to drop it back, or into a bucket, or show it. Beyond them, the channel was gone, fused with the mainland. Only the black mass of mountains remained, silhouetted against the west. The Glasshouse Mountains, Tubbergargan, Crookneck and Mount Blackhole. Volcanic cores now, all that was left since the outside wore away. The channel was full of pumice stone, Ruth knew. The kids collected bits of it for her to wash, to work at stains which couldn't go away. Funny stuff, pumice stone, hard and pitted, yet soft. Spewed up, Viv would say, spewed up from the centre of the earth from those mountains years ago. Now it rolled on the bed of the channel, or washed up, caught in the weed or the sand, all the way up from the centre. But the volcanic cores remained, black against the west, with the kids stooping in front of them. The Aborigines named the mountains once, and Cook knew them too, shining there in the sun when he sailed past, but named from a distance. He didn't land. It was a kind of deception, thinking the island was part of the mainland, seeing only the mountains, shining stone, flashing back at him in the morning sun like the glass houses of Kew. Little bits of England, even there in the bush, reflecting memories. Viv had taken the kids there once, to those mountains, but it didn't really work, because close up they lost it all. Just big rocks and eroded caves. The kids had been scared of them before that, but like the Aborigines you saw, there wasn't any mystery, not when you got close. Faces like stone, reflecting nothing. It was strange how things change when you thought about it, if you let yourself, if you sat back far enough and squinted, kind of. The kids moved in front of the mountains and were gone, then stepped out again, all black against the west. But up close you could see it was really Maxine and little Viv, like his father. Gloria next door always said they were like their parents, but not Tracy. She was a ringing, with somebody's face from somewhere, but no one she knew. Not that Viv cared, but there was a little wandering gene in her, going back, sneaking in, some stranger. But they were all there and happy now. That was what really mattered. Rising from the sand, she stood, calling them up for tea. From the dark waters they moved towards her slowly, kicking the sand. She stood and waited, hands in her apron, feeling the sand there and the telegram from Gloria next door. When they were bathed and had their tea, she'd tell them Viv was gone. That's the way it was, really. Things changed and it was better to face them. When the kids were asleep, she'd come back down and shake the sand from the apron pocket where it had crept in and lodged. But she would not call him. Ever over the dark water, she would not call him. Not like others had called. There was no point in that sort of thing. It was better to get close up because really, if you did think about it, little did go on. People were always coming and going. Somebody, somewhere. Gloria turned now, following the kids, her face set, like stone, reflecting nothing. One hand reached deep in her apron, fingering the telegram, crushed there. She took it out and dropped it on the sand. When the tide came in the darkness, it would be gone, like the footprints coming and going, always someone from somewhere, leaving only the sand and a woman who would not remember, who would forget, if she could, what will never be forgotten, that which had, quite simply, changed. Thank you.